show. The great Craig James from the Pony Express, and of course, successful NFL career with the New England Patriots. There he is, Craig. Also, of course, you know him as a football analyst, and just an all-around great dude. Craig, what's happening, man?
Man, Pete, good morning, man. Thanks for having me.
It's great. It's great to have you. Now, we go back. You may forget, I was one of Gary Horton's, cronies. So we would work with you guys at the NFL Today, and you were so nice to me.
Now, Pete, dang, man, when you said that, it clicked because I was like, Pete, now how do I know Pete? But I can't put it all together. You and Gary Horton, those are great CBS days.
They were great CBS days. I got to watch the Miracle, the Music City Miracle with you. We watched it at the ESPN Zone in New York City. And Jay Glazer was being a jerk to me. He kept talking about hitting on my girlfriend. You were like, hey, take it easy, pal.
You remember Glazer used to get mad at me because I would never use any of his material. He'd give us all this inside stuff and I never used it. He goes, why don't you use my stuff? I said, because I don't know that you know what you're talking about.
Well, dude, when it comes to Baylor and SMU, you know exactly what you're talking about. I was looking at some of your numbers prior to this. I mean, Baylor's just got to be happy you're not playing. You averaged about 100 yards a clip against some really good Grant Taft teams. And this rivalry being renewed on Saturday, going to be at SMU. Can you take people into this rivalry, what it was like in your Southwest Conference playing days?
Of course, back then, Pete, the Southwest Conference was the conference in the country. It was all the great players in this area, the state, they stayed around. We went to Baylor or Tech or A&M, Texas, and so they weren't spread out all over the country. So you had a lot of really good football players. And for Baylor and SMU, there was just this natural, I don't know if it was the religious schools or what it was, but they were really good in football, first of all. So we knew we had a challenge on our hands. And so the competitiveness, the familiarity of it, all of the fans, they were great games, hard-hitting games. Mike Singletary was there the first 2 years we played against him. Thank goodness he moved on and graduated. That guy was a beast on the field. We used to be in the huddle, Pete, and truly, he was known, he would hyperventilate. He'd get so amped up in a game. So we're in the huddle one time, my freshman year, I think it is, and I see him go out off the field. He had to go get his wind back. And then all of us in the huddle, only time in my history of playing football, we all said, 11 of us, hey, he's off the field.
And then you got to bump into him in the Super Bowl as well. So you couldn't dodge the guy.
He was he was relentless and a great player, especially tackle to tackle. You get outside the box, and that wasn't his specialty, but he was smart, tenacious, and he was old school.
What are some of your memories of that rivalry? Any specific memory you have? I mean, you mentioned that one, which was awesome, but on the field playing, because you did. I mean, I'm not blowing smoke. You had some really quality performances against Baylor, tackle to tackle.
Yeah, it was a physical game. And Eric and I, we knew when we played against Baylor that we were going to have to both do our thing. And many times on the sidelines, we'd come off the field against other opponents and we'd say, they're tired. We've got them beat down. And around the third quarter, and we start taking over. But against Baylor, they had depth as well as we had depth, and they were really good, well coached. And there was this natural competitiveness between us. And we thought we were better than them. They thought they were better than us. And so the stories in that game, I mean, the hard hits, man, they had some real. Eric hit one of their defensive backs one time so hard. I don't even know how the guy made it to the sidelines, but he went to the sidelines, and it just was a really competitive game.
When you and Eric were playing, obviously Eric Dickerson, and you guys were the Pony Express, and SMU was just hitting on all cylinders, right? What was the aura like around that offense, around that team? I mean, I remember just being a little older, but a lot of people don't. There was something really slick and magical about those teams.
So this is what, trying to put it within context, it's 40 years ago that happened generally. And so, for us in 1979, when we went to SMU, Eric and I went because of Ron Meyer, the head coach, and his great enthusiasm. We wanted to be a part of something that was going to be big. He swore to us, we're going to win, fellas. By God, we're going to get it done. Ron Meyer he out-recruited all the Baylors and the Texas and Arkansas, USC's, Oklahomas, Alabamas. because we had the city of Dallas. Dallas at that time was happening as it is today. It's just a vibrant city. So as a young 18-year-old, when you come to the campus of SMU, it's beautiful, and you get that vibe of the city of Dallas, it was a natural draw. We're seeing that today in the ACC. Now, if you're a player and have been a high school star in the state of Texas, you don't have to go to another conference or another state. You can stay here in Dallas if you want to, play for the Mustangs and play in a major conference.
Yeah, Craig, it's pretty cool when you kind of take a step back and you look at, okay, who is equipped to do well in this NIL era, and the salary cap situation we're sort of moving into next year. SMU really is equipped. I mean, they are really equipped to have a successful run, and you guys are ahead of schedule because it started last year. First question I guess I want to ask you is, how do you feel about the current team, Rhett Lashlee, Kevin Jennings, coming back off of a college football playoff appearance?
Well, I want to touch on that first comment there. I mean, our arrogance, we act like we're the only ones with billionaires. Baylor has them, Texas Tech has them, they're all over the place. So everybody's got money. It's just a matter of whether or not that money wants to invest into the university. Okay, we saw what RG3 did and meant for Baylor. So if you get the players and you win, you bring in the students, they want to come, and it just feeds off itself. As for last year's success, I think it was the knock on the door unexpectedly by SMU to get into the playoffs. And we won the games we should have won. It was a weaker conference last year. We had 3 bye weeks. The stars lined up. We had a great defense, especially the defensive line, 2 defensive line that made everybody really good. We stumbled into having a great running back in Brashard Smith, ran for over 1,000 yards. Rhett Lashlee knows how to put the puzzle together, and he did that last year. Now, like all these other schools, you've got 40, 50, in Belichick's case, 70 new players who walk into a locker room. This team has star players. Other teams have star players, but this remains a team sport. Pete, the same sport that you and I covered 20, 30, 40 years ago is the sport today. You have to run, you have to tackle, you have to block. And if you can't do those things and do them together, you will not win. So I think the jury is still out for us. We played a team that we were supposed to beat by 30 or 40 points. Baylor played a team that was 50-50 and played right there with them. And Auburn's a good football team. I think Baylor knows more about their team today than SMU knows about their team.
I'd love to get some of your analysis just a little deeper on that, because you touch on a really amazing point. I'm calling a UCF game on Saturday. 58 new guys for Scott Frost. It's just the way it is now around college football. Can you give people an idea how hard that is just to stick that in a microwave and try to make it gel? Some guys don't even make spring ball.
No. Okay. So in 2023, Rhett's first year at SMU, he invited me to come to practices. And so I started driving. I'm about an hour drive down to SMU's campus from where I live. And I started going 6:30 in the morning. I was there. And then one practice led to another. I didn't miss many practices. I went to the team meetings. I got to know the ball club. I got to know the personality of this new culture. And it's a different thing. So when you're bringing that many new guys together, some are going to like the message from the head coach and others won't. After about week 3, the ones who have been competing for a starting job and they weren't going to get that job, now they're worried about not burning a year, and they're looking to transfer. So now you got to try to keep your depth motivated, an extremely hard task to be a head football coach. That's why last year when Dave Aranda's team, the way they finished, showed me and said to me, man, they like that guy because you can't turn things around and finish as strong as they did if you don't like the head coach. You'd be wanting him gone. And so it's just a new era of college football. DeBoer, I heard him talking about his Alabama team in his press conference. And he made the comment, he goes, hey, look, I know more about my team this year than I did last year because I've been here for a year. And I know how to communicate with them better today than last year. So after that very frustrating, embarrassing loss to Florida State, he now knows better how to communicate with them to motivate them to get ready for the rest of the season.
It's pretty cool to see these conferences match up against each other. You mentioned Kalen DeBoer. The Florida State upset, I thought, was huge for the ACC, if you're going to look at conferences. Ultimately, big for SMU. Conversely, Baylor's loss to Auburn, we'll see what that looks like as we see how Auburn does, but it doesn't look great to start the season off. What do you make of that? Like this Big 12 opponent taking on an ACC opponent this week. There's a lot of conference stuff behind this now. What do you make of those matchups when ACC, Big 12?
Yeah, that's a good observation. I think it's a good parallel because truly the Big Ten and the SEC, they're going to measure against themselves. And it is now who's number three, who's number four? Is it the ACC or the Big 12? I think they're about the same, and they are fighting for public recognition. And at the end of the year, last year with SMU getting that bid over Alabama, we won't get the nod this year. I mean, that selection committee will grade us much tougher than they did last season. So I think these kind of games, beyond just the natural Baylor and SMU vibe, there really is the conference deal that takes place. And losing to Auburn on the record at the end of the season won't be as big a blemish as you would think.
Yeah, you mentioned Baylor and their loss to Auburn. What do you think about that team, Baylor's team right now, coming into this game against SMU? If you've had a chance to watch them, you mentioned their finish last year, but just your overall thoughts about this team coming off that loss against Auburn. By the way, Craig, they couldn't stop a nosebleed. That's a big problem for them.
Yeah, it really is, and they've got to stop that. Now, but then again, can SMU take advantage of the things that Auburn was able to do against Baylor? Can SMU do that? I think SMU's offensive line last season was a complete unknown. They had 5 good players, but they didn't know the slots to put them in. This year, entering the season, they had 4 of the 5 identified. They had the 5 players identified, so I think they're trying to start from a better position there. We're still a running back by committee. We don't know who our guy is. We had 3 guys that carried the ball roughly 9 times each, and they looked okay. But in my mind, when you're playing against Baylor, unless you're Barry Sanders, and we don't have Barry Sanders, you got to run past tacklers. Rashard Smith last year ran past the tackler. He made the offensive line look good until the offensive line got confidence and became good. So I look at Baylor. Baylor's a talented team. They're a physical team, and I think they got punched in the mouth a little bit, and I think it's up to Aranda to coach him up and for the players to respond and try to stop the run and do what they need to do.
Couple more questions, and then I want to ask you about the Pony Express Award, and I'll let you get back to your busy life. But just philosophically about football, week 1 you watch, there's a lot of missed tackles. Do you attribute that to the lack of contact in camp? Not that there should be a ton of contact in camp, but it just seems like, for lack of a better word, there was some sloppy play out there. I feel like the tackling is an art form that at least doesn't develop till week 4 or 5 now. Is that something you noticed too?
Yeah, and I think some of that could be attributed to the fact that these coaches take it easy on their guys. They're afraid of losing someone, maybe. I remember after the first year of Rhett Lashley being there, my comment was, in spring football, if you do anything but inside drill, 9-on-7, you're making a mistake. We had to get better at tackling. And tackling is something you got to work on. You have to do it. You got to have the desire to want to tackle. There was a guy named Mickey Andrews, was a Florida State defensive coordinator under Bobby Bowden for years when they won all those national championships. I watched a lot of game film with that guy and listened to him coach his players. One of the brilliant minds of all time in college. And man, you got to bring your legs. You got to want to bring your body. You got to know where to be. And so it's something. The players are talented enough at Baylor and SMU to make a tackle. Okay. North Carolina had talented players out there capable of making a tackle. Man, those guys, I could have run my old 64-year-old body. I think I could have run against them the other night. So I just think it's an art that has to be worked on, and the only way to work on it is to do it.
I have to ask you this question because I have you. Bill Belichick, your thoughts on that blowout loss to TCU. I heard Wes Durham saying this morning that he had heard quite possibly that Sonny Dykes may be called off the Dogs. I mean, that was getting pretty ugly. Is that just a first game situation where Bill Belichick is building a program at North Carolina, or is there something more there?
Well, we have to recognize that he has 70 new players. I mean, I don't think anybody else is having to deal with that. He did, so he hasn't had them very long. But to me, I'm looking at it, the big picture. The thing that made the New England Patriots so good was the single focus of that football team. There were no distractions. There were no girlfriends. There were no Michael Jordans there. LT is there. All these former great. There was none of that. It was football. And that in Foxborough, when I played for the Patriots, we had one blinking red light when I went to practice. It was easy. I didn't get distracted. And I feel like the North Carolina players, with all of the Belichick storyline, and he's just much more out there. And I think that's something, man. Rein it in. You got to play. He's got players, and now they got to get tough and on those players to make them play.
All right, so give me a little background and tell us about the Pony Express Award. It's something I'm fascinated by, and it gets me excited.
Well, Eric and I created the Pony Express Award to recognize the nation's top tandem. That can be two corners, it can be two linebackers, it can be a safety in a corner, it can be a wide receiver and a quarterback, two tight ends. And so Eric and I, we really want to recognize the success of a tandem working together to help themselves be better as well as the team to be better. The Pony Express Award, I have a faith. Eric has a faith. We're brothers in Christ. We've been good friends since the beginning. So nearly 50 years, the foundation of our Christ brotherhood has kept us together. And so by being able to create this award, it's something that recognizes teamwork. This is in a me era. It's great to have a we award, and it's voted on by the players, which is really unique. When I was voted into the Pro Bowl in the NFL, I knew it came from my peers, voted on by them. That meant a lot to me. And so having the players as a part of that process is really important to Eric and I.
How about that relationship for real? Like 50 years, pretty much, we're talking here. And that speaks to football and the bond and the brotherhood, and you share it in faith too now. That is real cool stuff.
Yeah, man. You know what? It's unique. And Eric and I, we hit it off from the day we met when we were seniors in high school, 18 years old. He had a big old fro. He was at the car wash with that gold Trans Am in Sealy, Texas, washing it. And I pulled up, and man, we just bonded. We came together as friends, and we pushed each other in college. It was competitive. You went to practice every day competing for your carries, and that made us both better, saved us carries for our NFL career, and the friendship. Eric and I were never jealous of each other. It was always he was pulling for me and me for him because we wanted to be successful. We wanted to win. I saw a stat somewhere. I think somewhere our last couple of years we were 21-1-1, and we wanted to win, and we knew that by both of us having success, it gave us the best chance to be successful.
Last question for you, SMU. Can they sustain success there? Because I think they can. I think if they choose to invest, right, that money you're talking about, or we were just talking about, they could sustain success there, Craig. And that's something we have not seen yet.
Pete, when Eric and I got to the NFL, in the Rams locker room and in my Patriots locker room, so many of the players came up and said, man, we wanted to go to SMU. Man, we wanted to play for the Ponies. We wanted to play in Dallas. And I think that's the sustaining part. And you've got a great education. Every school has life after ball, and every school has great education if you put your mind to it. Dallas is a city that it's booming, it's growing, it's vibrant. So to be able to sustain, I do think it's there, Pete. I think it's a chance for Rhett to have a long career, a successful career. I think he's the right guy. Rhett loves the Lord. He and his wife are awesome leaders and examples for that whole campus. And I think it's really good for college football if SMU and the city of Dallas are someplace that's vibrant that other schools want to come to and play and have success.
Craig James, legendary SMU football player, of course, football legend overall. Really cool to link back up with you, Craig, and for you to share time with us means a lot.
Oh, Pete, man, hey, anytime. I'd love to come on with you. Can't believe we did get to link up again. The PonyExpressAward.com is our website. The PonyExpressAward.com, and man, we look forward to seeing who wins this year. I'm happy for you, Pete. It's great to see you. And sick 'em Bears and go Mustangs.
All right, we'll put that website stuff after we clip this and put it up on YouTube. Make sure it gets out there so people know. Craig James, thank you so much.
You got it, my friend. Thank you.
How about that? Craig James, blast from the past for me in two regards. One, I was working for him and a bunch of those guys at the NFL today. He was always the best guy. Like, people ask, like, hey, what was that person like when you were at the very bottom, right? And they were at the top. Yeah, Craig James is the real deal. one of the better guys out there on and off the field. Cannot wait, by the way, for Saturday's game. Baylor, a 3-point underdog. So there's a lot to get excited about. We're going to step aside, take a break. We'll come back, talk Big 12. It's top of mind for me. I just finished up doing Inside the 12, and then we're going to welcome Dan Ingham. Dan's going to come by in a little bit to talk about First National Bank of Central Texas, our partnership with them, and, of course, give us a couple picks. The Pizza...